Welcome to the BenBen Show, everyone. I'm your host, you guessed it. This episode of the BenBen Show is sponsored by Ruth Bader Ginsburg's revised deathbed confessional and last words. Just came out this morning on her deathbed, her new revised last words. Round up all the little people and threaten to put them in work camps unless they tell us where they're keeping the gold. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. May she rest in peace. I'm sitting today in the shower. If you guys gents are ever, wooing a woman, you find this woman you covet, walk up to her and say, I'd like to have you for dinner. I mean, take you to dinner. I think that's cute. The initial phrasing doesn't mean anything. It's not negative. The connotation being inappropriate is only after you revise your statement. Like some sort of like lustful, carnal, just to ravage this woman, her body, her aesthetics, this young, vibrant, or whomever. Just it's reasserted that you find her absolutely desirable, and you would replace dinner with just, horizontal tango. Have a cigar. I'm gonna smoke this cigarillo. I'm wearing Borelli today. I lost a dress shirt years ago. It's custom made, and I was really upset by it. I was a kid. My dad sent me a bunch. I think this was one of them. It's like a pale striped purple. Lavender, I think, would be more apropos. Looks good, I think. A little bit of a sniffle still, sorry, from last week. I want to talk briefly, it's really bothered me. I haven't slept in like 2 days. My cat, Deckard, named after Harrison Ford's character in Blade Runner, as a homage to my late partner in crimes, our cat Seabean, from the Roy Blatty monologue or soliloquy. Dialogue with Harrison Ford, even though Harrison Ford doesn't really answer him at the end of this the movie. He's like, I've seen C-beams at Tannhauser Gate. Tannhauser was her other cat. And I found this cat that was needed a home, and I brought him home. And I think that coyotes killed him. Yeah, I do. For a number of reasons. He's less than a year old. He has not returned home in 48 hours. I don't think he's searching for women. Oh, I hope he's stooping some cat nearby. That'd be great. And he's just having the time of his life, and he'll be home. But my other cat that has not yet taken to him, slowly, recently, has become more affectionate towards me, despite me bringing this intruder into the house. Was very affectionate the last couple of days, almost like that cat knows what happened. He was present. He heard the coyotes while I was sleeping. I let them go inside and outside. I believe that cats like that lifestyle more than just being cooped up. And I realize there's predators, and it's a quality of life concern. Our cats that were about 10 years old, we started letting them go outside around 8. They loved it. They would bring dead mice into the house, or live mice, forget about them. It's adorable. The mice would crawl under the mattress. It was just laid on the floor, no spring box. We'd find the dead mice, basically pummeled by our heft on the mattress underneath it, smushed, flattened, hiding from the cats, but dying from asphyxiation or just being bludgeoned by our weight. days later, the smell. Still, it's kind of, it's nice to have this, like, these cats bring you these, like, gifts, like, look what I did. They'll bring you a dead mouse, put it in your bed, and, like, there you go. That's where that shit goes. You're welcome. I'm gonna get back out there and at it. See, I can't talk. Haven't slept. So, it really bothers me. I don't know what to do about it. I walked around today trying to find it. Anyone who's like lost a cat or, an animal comes from a part of your family, or especially in my circumstance with like, your like soulmate, passes away and you honor, and the other cat disappears. And so you feel even worse, like the worst cat dad in the world. You want to honor that with, protecting something else that needs a home, and you fail at that. It sucks. It makes me feel awful. And it's frustrating because the other cat I have, that I also adopted, that's older, it's like he's never, there was a coyote the other day I saw that he knows to stay away. Like I don't know. And I saw the young cat stay away, was aware, tomcat, boy, intact. So this is not an issue. They know what to do. Stay, there's plenty of places to hide, run away. I think they'll be fine. But lo and behold, here I am, upset as hell, sleep deprived, frustrated, depressed, because I lost my light. This like burns my nose. I don't smoke that often. I do when I'm writing sometimes. It's like a lot of people do. Like Bukowski and all these people. It's like, where would they be without it? Jean-Paul Sartre. It's like almost a prerequisite to like a flow of ideas or to calm the brain. I think a good substitute would be theanine. Theanine seems to help that, like, give you that like focus that's not based on like caffeine. So they put that in coffee, you get the caffeine, but it lowers the anxiety, that kind of like stressful, rambling thought that doesn't really get you any production. Sorry, I digress. Back to Deckard for a second. Also lost my credit card. Can't find that this morning. I had to use a different credit card. It's very agonizing. See, everything's off. I'm off, completely off. It's this whole thing. It's just messed up my whole week. I don't want to get another cat. Still looking for my other cat that disappeared, that other neighbors keep seeing, evidently. God, trying to catch a feral cat. Oh, fuck. Get a trap. Day by day. It's all I can do. It's all I can do. Take it day by day. Yeah, that's all I can do. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it's very unfortunate she passed away, but Jesus Christ, she's like 100 years old. And it's like one of those things, it's like Louis C.K. has a joke, it's like, my dad passed away, he was 55, I'm so sorry. My grandmother passed away, she was 98. Pfft, why do you even tell me? It's true. It's just like, it's not, it's unfortunate. It's a little ridiculous that the Democrats honestly say that her last words, let's pretend that those are her last words. Even if they are, I don't want to be replaced until after the election. Even if that's true, it's what she's thinking. And this is all designed to get millennials out to vote. Like, how dare, what if this was your parents, this guy's like replacing your parents or something, I don't know, like, it's not a good analogy, but like, the goal is to try to get young people out. Fucking windows are open. Cats. The goal is to get young people a reason to go to the voting booth, It's like, how dare this man, or people in general. How dare he replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg, RGB, so quickly, which is actually within the appropriate confines of the Constitution and how it's done. There's a game theory play that if he were to postpone, it would actually give, I think, young millennials that are liberal, that for every reason are so fervently against Trump in conversation and online and through social media, but when it comes to going to a voting booth, yeah, they have better things to do. We saw that in 2016. Trump had absolutely no reason to win that election. I think Bernie hurt the Hillary vote, a variety of other things, but he had no reason to win. Kind of glad that he won. It's refreshing from general party politics, regardless of what you think of him. It's just nice to have someone who's just like, so divisive, so different. The guy gets shit on every single day, and he just takes it and keeps going, keeps on trucking. Just, it's good, man. Good for him, But the game theory play is, if he were not just to appease the Democrats and postpone it, the side of that is that young people and other voters might be inclined to go and vote when they otherwise wouldn't, knowing that they have the opportunity to honor this woman and have Biden pick her successor. You know what I mean? Like, it empowers them. It gives them a reason to do so. So appeasing that or neutralizing ammunition from the Democrats by saying, oh, no, we'll push back the confirmation. Because even if he does lose the election as a lame duck president, he has time to push through the Senate confirmation hearing. So it's like, it doesn't matter, I'll just, still get her through. And from a legacy standpoint, it doesn't really affect anything either way. She's going to be replaced whether he wins or loses. But yeah, I think that's the deal. I think the reason why he's pushing it, I just came to the conclusion, at first I thought he should postpone it, just to not give the Dems ammunition. Then I realized, no, you are giving them ammunition. You're giving people an incentive to go to the voting booth to keep you out of office by a direct sale. Like, if you vote Biden, Trump can't pick the replacement for RGB, which isn't true, but it's the way the media's played it. People could think that way, and I never mind about the media. Jesus, I mean, what? Brutal, absolutely brutal, and for all aspects. It's ramping up across the board. It's ramping up across the board. It's not even just Trump stuff. Just like every little detail of like progressive this and that, and this kind of like authoritarian fascist. I say fascist, and not in the Trumpian antithesis. I say it in the way of one way of thinking. This is the right way, and everything else is disgusting, vile, and how dare you? You cannot possibly believe that Ruth Bader Ginsburg's last words were, hey, not about her family, not about her children, grandchildren. Steve Jobs said, oh wow. Maybe he saw the afterlife or a glimpse of it. Maybe it was dimethyltryptamine, Joe Rogan it, just shooting through his pineal gland. I don't know. I have dimethyltryptamine, 5-MeO. I have not tried it because I'm scared to death. Again, I digress. Again, no sleep. Sorry. But it's just gross. Even if those were her last words, why are you reporting on something like that? It's so sacred. It's so wrong. She doesn't care about party politics when she's dying. They're not her last words. It's disgusting. The Democrats have this thing. What I don't like about them is, A, they're racist because they lie. They lie to uneducated poor people who are their voters. Young millennials who don't have jobs, don't make money yet, because why the fuck would you want to vote for someone that wants to raise taxes through the wazoo if you make money? You wouldn't. That's why conservative ideals grow as you get older. The time value of money becomes evident to people as they get older, but not when they're young. So they're more liberal and idealistic when they're young, not knowing Oh, I have a family. I want to build something for them and save. Oh, I can't do that at a 60% tax rate or some crazy, Marxist version of. Someone just called. I had to post, just called and said they saw Decker. It was my other cat. And it's really frustrating. Then it interrupted this podcast. I'm totally gonna burn my nose. It's so little left. A roach clip would be ideal. Never seen one of those except for movies. 80s movies about stoners and, I don't know, sex and lying in bed. They lie to the most, susceptible groups of people that, are idealistic, young millennials, white, mixed, whatever race, whatever. That kind of, smorgasbord of different backgrounds. But then they do whatever it takes to win. And not what's best for the country, whatever it takes to win. Let's bring in voters from Mexico and different countries that are poor, using the Ezra Lazarus poem as our modus operandi on the Statue of Liberty is. This is our duty as Americans. Give us your tired, weak, poor, you're hungry. That's how this was founded. It's not about that. It's about outsourcing votes. It's because they're going to be dependent on government subsidies and they will vote Democrat. That's so gross. So, we care. No, you don't. You don't give a baker's fuck. You don't care. You care about the power. Consolidate the votes, make the federal government like the king of the hill. And then you'll get more and more money because more people will give you money knowing that whoever controls that controls all those decisions. It's consolidating power, and then you put yourself in position. You're creating income stream for yourself. How the hell does Nancy Pelosi have $45 million, $180,000 salary? Doesn't make any sense, does it? How does fucking, what's his name? Obama have an $8 million house in Calorama in DC? Never mind everything else. What is he worth? $80 million right now? It's not from a book deal. Get the fuck out of here. It's just these are the things. It's so corrupt. And I'm not saying Trump's not going to benefit, but he was already a billionaire. He doesn't really give a shit. This is wheeling and dealing, playing games, getting money from Qatar and Middle Eastern countries for, backhanded deals. That's besides the point. It's just lying to millennials, saying you give a shit about the black community, you give a shit about the LGBT community. You don't. It's the consolidation of those things and pushing these things on TV that the opposite party, Republicans or Trump, don't care about those people. It's ridiculous. It's a straw man argument. It's so gross. And then you take a woman who just died and say that these are her last words. Dude, ew. It's not. It's about her good granddaughter, I love you all, I'm scared or something, hold my hand. Something normal. Not party politics that not only are so irrelevant to what's about to happen to her in terms of the grand scheme of things, but are so topical to this one instant that is superficial in our history in this year as an election year. It's so dead on topical. Chuck Schumer coming out, she said that she would like the next judge to be appointed after the election. What? Those were her last. What? Dude, it's so gross. It's so gross. How does that not turn millennials away? We hate Trump, but that's a little distasteful. Just a little distasteful. But it goes around, so it's affecting everything. Jason Whitlock the other day. This guy is I think he's on Fox Sports now. He was on ESPN, but he left. ESPN's become incredibly, it's owned by Disney, but Max Kellerman just the other day said that it's right-wing radicals that are the reason for all the riots going on in this country right now. Different, right-wing radicals aren't the ones protesting about the Breonna Taylor, and they're not the ones that were controlling the Seattle, like new city that was annexing the land of some area, taking, a rightful claim for this new area that's progressive and anti-Trump, and demanding that police be, defunded or else, or protesting outside of Mitch McConnell's house. Those aren't right-wing conservatives. Those are not right-wing radicals. It's the fact that they're saying that, and it's not about what's right. It's like your job's on the line, dude. Your job's on the line. Black screen on your Instagram. Black Lives Matter. Boom. Everyone, all at the same time. Everyone in celebrity. Everyone in the game. Because there's gatekeepers involved. It's part of your job. You have to, in entertainment, you have to be part of that, that way. It's your duty. It's so disturbing. Why is it like that? It's scary, right? It's kind of creepy. It's so fake and forced and effectual. Effectual is a great word, because it's it really implies that it's not true. You're trying, and you don't have to try if it's real. Huh. Sounds very kitty-ish. That's just the door. Sounds like scratching. You shouldn't have to force things down people's throat or make these blanketed, ridiculous statements like that. So Jason Whitlock was criticized about sexist comments he made regarding Rhea Taylor. She got that got opportunities at ESPN based on the way she looks, partially. I mean, are there a lot of ugly CNN anchors? No. The Candace Owens, the conservative side, good-looking black woman. It's kind of, you're on TV. It's part of the deal. It's not talent. It's not just talent. I'm sorry, it's not. Oh, I earned it because I'm such a good actress. You have to know the right, it's very hard. Talent's such a small part of it. You have to work hard and know the right people and they'll like you, give you the opportunity. Talent? Dude, it's nothing to do with anything. What's the implication? Oh, she just works really hard. At what? At what does she work hard at? Coming up with stories that everyone else in her profession does? Or does one of her main attributes is that she's a good-looking television person that's personable and works well in terms of the interface of TV to the audience? That's a trait. That's an honest thing to say. It doesn't mean that's all she is. Same as a good-looking male anchor or something like that. It's the same precept. He's just talking about women in a sense that are on TV. It's the same idea of tying good-looking men. It's really frustrating. He takes a shot at Katie Nolan, of whom he writes, "Beauty intoxicates TV executives, bloggers, and journalists, and it masks a lack of accomplishment." Whew, rough. Qualifications and skill. Beauty transformed Katie Nolan from bartender to seven-figure personality, Emmy Award winner and the darling of aroused bloggers and TV critics willing to ignore her pedestrian humor and inability to execute live television. Sure, probably to some degree that's accurate. This is Octavia Cortez. If she was not an attractive woman, would not be in the position that she's in. She wouldn't have been chosen. Do you realize her qualifications? Same concept, same precept. They're based on her ethnicity. They chose her partially because of the Hispanic vote, unequivocally. They chose her because of that, and her background, because she represents the working class. Look what you do if you work hard, whatever that means. She was chosen. There's so many people working hard that want a better life for themselves. It's not just oh, I worked harder. Really? That doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And I agree that maybe you shouldn't say that it masks the lack of accomplishment. qualifications and skill. You should probably like balance that by saying, you should have said something like, beauty intoxicates TV executive, bloggers, and journalists, and it weighs more heavily than accomplishment, qualifications, and skill, unfortunately, because we live in a material world that is superficial and, well, it's television. I mean, it's kind of just the way it is. Like that's, he's saying something that's like, what I think is funny about progressive ideology is that there's this like sense of things are unfair and we have to change them. But the people that are in power, like say in Hollywood, tell that to like the Jews, like my friend Daniel Littman that works at Politico. Tell that to, he's on TV every day, works really, really hard, very successful. Tell that to every, like, people that run the investment banks. Like, oh, well, people are just prejudiced, they're very anti-Semitic. We have to do more to help the Jews because they're, it's not fair, it's not right. It's, they're being, there's a lot of prejudice against them. It's the reason why they're not rising up. Well, that makes a lot of sense. They fucking run everything. They're kick ass. They don't give a baker's fuck. They've worked hard and they've taken the throne. That's what you do. That's the way it is. It's not, no, like, oh, it's racism. That's what holds people back. Like, yeah, to some degree, absolutely. But it's not the reason. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. It's like Asian Americans, fucking more likely to get a job, more likely to get a promotion, more likely to make more money. I mean, like fucking kicking ass and all, like, Woodrow Wilson had them in work camps. I mean, not too long ago in this country's history, ostracized, oppressed. So this game of like, we need to protect because things are unfair. Life's unfair. This is a game. You don't just like, oh, we're going to protect you and give you all the power. No, that's not the way it works. There's an ulterior motive as to why this, we got to protect you because people are prejudiced against you for superficial reasons. Isn't it funny that they say that, but then the same reason they assign attributes and like they give accolades just on the way they look. You're black and you're amazing. You're transsexual. That's what you are. You're transsexual. That's what defines you. Not your politics are, what you do for a living or what you've accomplished. You are a transsexual. That is you. That's more you than anything else. We really should kind of push more towards trying to be more objective and trying to I'm libertarian, obviously, but if you want to really relate to people that are not that are more liberal, we should treat people based on what they do, not what they look like, ever. Not what they look like in a positive way or what they look like in a negative affectation, like denying them. Now, life's unfair. TV, media, stuff like that, being an actor, there's going to be some of that. Like, oh, well, we loved the James Bond series. Kind of maybe if we chose a black actor to play James Bond, it wouldn't be ideal. That's awful. Oh my God. You have a black James Bond, but do you see what I'm saying? Like the Marvel movies and everything, they're selling to China to make money. The Chinese market loves that. They love those movies. They love that whole thing. Not really movies. They're like, I don't know. It's like a adventure park in a movie theater. It's not. They think they're horrible movies, but the point is money. So when you look at a risk-reward standpoint, some things are just about money, and sometimes those things involve superficialities that are unfair. Life's unfair. I know life's unfair. My fiance died. My wife died. My partner, whatever you want to call her, in common law marriage. So I don't know. It's the first time I'm saying that. What I mentioned it relative to the cat. Most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. It has more talent in one finger than I have in my entire body. And think I deserve that. As solipsistic as that is, what about her? Does she deserve that? You know, like. So like, you want to take this from like a sexism standpoint. You know, women deserve X, Y, and Z. Fucking take it. There's no excuses. Just take it. Don't ask for like, oh, well, we have to create a rule through the federal government that makes things more equal. The Equal Rights Act hasn't really changed anything for African Americans in this country, has it? Voting on juries, women, is that, you know, how do women feel? Is that amazing? The wage gap. It's an indigeneity error. I've mentioned that phrasing before. The wage gap. It's not real because it's weighted based on like people dropping out of their profession, have kids, and all these other reasons. Like, it's not real. Choosing professions that make less money, stopping to have kids, as I said, you know, working less hours. These are all variables that go into that. Like a female lawyer is 35 and a male lawyer doing the same job, one gets paid less. Well, it's because of those reasons, not because one's a woman, one's a man. That's the indigeneity error. Taking that isolated variable as a false conclusion and defining the data set as that point being, you know, sufficient to kind of like summarize the difference. That is very misleading. And why would you lie to people about that? You're progressive, you care about, why would you lie? Because it serves your interests. It serves your interests as a, you know, liberally minded, public, media, powers that be. Serves your interests to keep things as they are. We need to help Black people forever. Like forever, because you've put billions and billions of dollars into this machine of saying that. You can't just all of a sudden stop. You can't tell Apple computers to stop making MacBook Pros and iPhones, do something else. You've solved the riddle. You can't do that. It's the point. It's like first rule of business. You know, you don't just stop. You've invested heavily. That's what you do. You say women's rights, and that's your game plan. But it's gotten a little crazy. This postmodernist nutso, you don't have the right to speak unless you think the way that I do. They're taking that straight to heart, and it's scary as fuck. It's psycho. This world's become so fucking psycho. So fucking psycho. Jason Whitlock, yeah, probably not ideal to say stuff like that, but people are chosen for different reasons. People could go, you know, families are always rising and falling, and it's not fair. Hawthorne said that, as did Leonardo DiCaprio in The Departed. So, Theo Vaughn and Bobby Lee, the comedian's podcast, Tiger Show or something, I think it's Bobby Lee's, talking about Chris D'Elia the other day, saying, you know, Bobby Lee's trying to defend Chris D'Elia, saying he's a great guy. Having said that, I believe victims. He's like, I wish I could just say that he's a nice guy without, but like, I believe victims, and I believe the accusations. Like, you can't do that and say, oh, he's a good guy, but he raped the girls, or whatever. You can't do that. You can't just say he's a nice guy. It doesn't disqualify the allegations against Chris D'Elia. You like him as a friend, it's fine. Why are you going, now you probably talked to Chris at some point and said, you know, I'm gonna help you out and go to bat for you, but I'm gonna do it in a way that protects my career because I don't want to be canceled. I don't want the powers that be that cancel you. Like you notice these, like, Chris D'Elia is not anywhere, hasn't done anything. He could do his own podcast and put it on YouTube. He's not. Someone told him not to, or else they threatened him. It's interesting. Wouldn't that be funny if Chris D'Elia just like, he just kept on doing his show with the sponsors. Like obviously the sponsorships are like what's probably keeping him off the air. But if he just did his show and said, screw it, you're not going to pay me, I'm going to pretend like you are. This episode of Congratulations is sponsored by Cash App. Cash App. When you want to pay your drug dealer but don't know how to use the dark web, Cash App. You pay your drug dealer in cash. You know what I mean. It's weird though, it's like he could just do his show, but someone's telling him you better not. You're so certain that you've done nothing wrong. Some 20-year-old girl on Instagram accusing you of all these things, right? Okay. You believe you did nothing wrong. Okay. Keep living your life. Do your shit. But someone's saying you can't do it. You're on timeout. That's interesting to me. It's just like this is the way the game is. It's so interesting. Even like, in celebrity, like people that are on the fringes, like their show didn't work out, they go right to the politics stuff. Like the Amy Schumer, like in the middle of her stand-up special, I went to one of them. She like talks about like I think it was in 2016, Washington D.C. She was talking about the election and Hillary. And it was so weird. It was so weird. I think it was the part of the show where you could actually record. She let you do that. It was so weird. Dude, like what? Like what are you doing? It's so fucking weird. It's like why is politics? You're Amy Schumer. Well, who are you? Like why are you pushing like Hillary Clinton down there? It's because that's the point. You're a what do they call those people on like social media? Influencer. You are an influencer extraordinaire. People like your shit. And it might be like they think you're the best plumber in the world. And because you're the best plumber, you have an audience. And they're like, let's see if we can apply his popularity as the best plumber in the world, sorry, being sexist, he or she as the best plumber in the world, to something completely different, like nuclear disarmament or the next presidential election. What his opinion is matter, even if it's nothing to do with what he's the best at in his profession. Let's ask. Like, there was someone the other day, a former pimp that was charged with pimping out women. Has been given $150,000 by some political group on the left to figure out how to reorganize the police force and how to retrain them. It's a civilian that just has a microphone. It's crazy. It's a little weird, but how all the money was $82 million going to Florida for felons to pay their fines so that they can vote in the election. Same thing happened during Bill Clinton's second run for president in the 90s. It was Citizenship United, where felons and illegals got citizenship or got their voting rights reinstated or something so they could vote right before the election. It's just like, it's not for the right the point is it's not genuine. It's not for the right reasons. That's what I'm talking about. This whole podcast is like rambling. I've been interrupted a few times. I'm sorry. It's about genuine honesty. Like, what is the intention? What is the directive of Black Lives Matter? It's not what it says. It's not its namesake. It's something more insidious, and it's very fucked up that white, rich, powerful people are funding all this shit, which basically says white, rich people are evil. Why would they do that? That's what I'm saying. There's this ulterior motive of control and kind of like culling a generation of people from being threats to the status quo. That is really what it's about. Like subsidize a middle-class lifestyle for all these millennials through the government and the universal minimum wage and all this shit. They will never be able to rise up like the French Fronde. They will never be able to do anything because we control their livelihood. And you saw in this kind of the amount of debt the middle class is taking on because of COVID. it's demonstrable. But you saw how many people that live paycheck to paycheck. How many millennials don't have $5,000 in savings? How demonstrably destructive this has been for people without means. And that shows that the left has all this power going forward. With automation and everything happening, like skill sets, even like investment banking. I was talking to someone the other day. How long does it take me to evaluate a company? 100 hours minimum? Like reading press releases, doing like a net present value, discounted cash flow, applying like, okay, what is the true value of the assets that they have going forward? How do I discount that backwards? A computer that just does that automatically, that's taking new information and constantly adjusting discount rates, like could play like a wedge between like what is true and what is where arbitrage opportunities are. Like, better than any investment bank, better than Michael Milken himself. Human machine, 18 hours a day. That ability to take people's skill sets and just completely automate them and make them robotic. It's a huge group of workforce that's just going to be like thrown by the wayside. And the accumulation of wealth then becomes who controls the AI, who controls the means. Well, this is very Noam Chomsky-esque, but the means of production. And you see it, Silicon Valley and Twitter, these ways of like, Twitter's so interesting because it's like, what's trending? It's like, who defines what's trending? Twitter does. And then you as a user presume it's just people. Most people are morons, but there is this FOMO and this sense of like, oh, well, everyone else thinks that, I better. Like McDonald's does it. They say, oh, look, 1 billion hamburgers sold. That's one of their advertising methods. Oh, well, 1 billion people bought a hamburger. It's got to be good. See how dangerous that is? Like going for it's so dangerous. It's just like it cascades down. It's like, oh shit. It's like, yeah, that is a thing. It's a problem. It's a huge fucking problem. So yeah, I don't know. Chris D'Elia, his whole career could be ruined because of an accusation that's nothing to do with something that's true. But in an election year, they might be exceptionally provocative in terms of like their censorship of people that may be white men, or asset classes for the future. Like, listen, just you're on timeout till after the election. We'll resolve it then. Like, how much money? And you think about like what would happen if like someone like Leonardo DiCaprio was in the same position as Chris D'Elia. I think he'd be defended. Just as Ellen has her show back, partially because of her power in the LGBT community and her background. And if she was a white male, I don't think that it would be the same outcome. Enemies would use it to their advantage and would take it from the male white version of Ellen that's not gay. But the reality is entertainment's run by gay white men, and they adore it. They adore Ellen. And they don't seem to have a problem with rappers saying, faggot this and faggot that. It's because at the bottom line, they're like, yeah, whatever. It also perpetuates this subjugation of black culture by continuing to talk about drug dealing and preaching all this fucked up shit about women, which, again, it's funny because the same people that vote for Hillary or say Trump's evil, the record executives are gay, a lot of them, have no problem with the way they talk about women in their rap shit. There's no progressive nature to that. What's expelled in the culture of hip hop about like get money, blah blah, this materialism, this sense of like the means of acquiring material things and demonstrably fucking hoes, and it's in their interest to do so. It's not necessarily good for the black community, but then again, that's good for the Democrats because they continue to save them and protect them, because after all, they need to be coddled. I'm being facetious. I hope that makes sense. If you need to be coddled like the Jews need to be coddled. Did I get him? All right, I'll see you later. Bye.